guys can see a little bit. So again, like I said, dicots, two cotyledons, and then they're angiosperms, right? So with dicots, these are the two halves that I was talking about, right? They look like little lungs. That's why how you learned it a little bit. So the dicots are the storage units for the embryo, and the embryo is the root and the shoot system together, right? So for the whole seed structure, we have our two cotyledons, and then we have one cotyledon will have like the embryo attached to it. Well, the both are supposed to be attached, but we break it in half, one side's one. So it'll have the embryo attached to it, and then it'll be covered by the seed coat, and that's this little outside part right here. So during germination, what happens is a process called imbibition, and that's when the seed will start to absorb water and it'll start to expand. And for the seed coat, it has a fixed ratio or a fixed length that it can expand to until it'll break and burst. And that's when the water will rush into it and the seed will even get bigger, even bigger. And then cellular respiration will happen. And then that's when the nutrients in here, which is what this is made out of, this yellow cotyledon, it'll get broken down and used to actually grow the plant to a larger plant. And so that's pretty much what's going on here. So the transition to like the seed before it gets the water to this is what happens. So pretty much you have the cotyledons that's growing with the plant. So after the plant got all the water, it's starting to grow up. So what happens is it'll shoot out, right? And it'll have its cotyledons. And what happens with the cotyledons, again, they're being broken down and all that nutrients is being transported into the plant. And this is the plant in the most juvenile stage, the sprout, right? And then the reason during this process it needs this is because it hasn't established a root system yet. So it needs the nutrients that it has present to get the root system established so they can get the minerals and water it needs. So then they can grow and support leaves. So they go from this stage to this stage pretty much. So that's when they have the cotyledons. The cotyledons are shrinking and being broken down. And then now the root system is growing and establishing itself so they can grow its true leaves. And to go back to the seed diagram, these are the true leaves, but they haven't grown yet. So we have our cotyledons, which kind of act as leaves in a sense, but they're not really leaves. They don't photosynthesize. It's just stored nutrients that the plant has to depend on to become a plant. So now going back, now we have our plant like this. The root system's getting a little more established, and now it can actually start to grow leaves. So we get up to here. Now the cotyledons are start to shrink. They fall off. And then we get our true sets of leaves that grow. And then now this is when the plant starts photosynthesizing and it becomes autotrophic. And autotrophic means it produces its own nutrients and its own energy. So that's the whole kind of life cycle in a sprout in a sense of a dicot, maturing. So one thing is to remember, like,